Hey everyone, today's topic, how to solve all your dating problems. In this video I'll share with you 2 tips that will hopefully get you closer to doing just that, although of course there isn't really a way to completely solve all dating issues because the only way to really do that would be to date someone who's completely like yourself, and then where's the fun in that? But anyway, so the tips that I have for you are 1, to stop dating average people. That's probably the most important one. And then 2, continue working on yourself. That's what you need to do if you want your dating life to get better, because I see a lot of people make complaints about dating, and it's usually because they're dating the average person. They're not having incredible standards, they're not picking and choosing, they're not going about dating consciously. They're basically just going with the first available options, the first people to come into their life. And I get that because many of us don't go out enough purposely just to find partners. So many of us don't have an abundance of partners to choose from. But that doesn't mean that you should go for the first people to come into your life and show you interest, because they're very likely going to be average. And while there isn't anything wrong per se with average people, it's just you have to know beforehand what the average person is like. Remember, averages, it's all statistics, right? So for the most part, we can make some assumptions about how most people will be in general, just looking at trends. And most people don't really work on themselves, not consciously at least. Like, they may evolve over time, but it's usually because life kind of makes them have to evolve, or maybe their career success will help them evolve. But most people don't go about this consciously, and what I mean by that is purposely making it a priority in their life to become a better human being over time. Most people simply don't do that, right? Like, if they did, the world would be a vastly different place. So that isn't really a thing. And this is why I don't believe you should spend time dating average people. As soon as you find out that someone doesn't really take the time to work on themselves, you need to ask yourself, is it really worth my time and energy to continue investing those resources in this person? Are they worth it? Because you'll often find if someone is average, the answer to that question is no. And this goes in line with a lot of stuff you see out there on the internet where you have people like saying all men and all women are the same. The reason they say that is because they're talking about average people. And if you're dating without standards, you are going to find a lot of average people, and they'll probably come off rather similar because, remember what I said, the average person doesn't work on themselves, so they are going to follow certain trends and whatnot. Like, most people kind of just go through life blindly. Like, the way you can kind of determine how they'll act is what's good and cool in the current trends of the day. And I do mean social trends in that regard. So most people will follow whatever is like the happenings of the time. That's how people tend to be. So usually they're not going to be super amazing. I mean, I can tell you one thing, like, most people from their 20s or 30s just spend that time partying and kind of experimenting and making not so great choices, whereas people who are more mature because they work on themselves tend to not quite participate in those things. So there are just certain ways that you can kind of gauge how someone will be based on where they're at in life, their age. So I just don't believe it's worth going after average people, because you almost always know what you're going to get for the most part. So if you don't want to end up with that mentality of all women or all men are the same, then stay away from average people, because they will certainly make you start thinking in that way. So that's the first thing. The second thing, continue working on yourself. If you want your dating life to get better, you must do this. This is why I get so annoyed when I see like men and women on the internet giving up on dating, because that almost immediately tells me they're probably not working on themselves. I know that's a crazy assumption to make, but I truly believe that, because if they were working on themselves, I don't believe, one, that they would buy into such a victimhood and stupid mentality that's really disempowering, but 2, if they were working on themselves, they'd probably just find ways to work around issues that are outside of their control, because that's something that's outside of our control, right? Like, if your dating life is kind of crazy, or I shouldn't say that, your dating life is under your control, of course, but I mean the people you run into who are your options may not always be under your control, because you can't control what other people are like, but you can control the environments you put yourself in. So you can, to some extent, control the types of people that are in your dating pool. For instance, if you go to bars and clubs all the time, you probably know what you're going to get, right? You're going to get people who are very much into having fun, making short-term decisions based on short-term pleasure. So they're probably not going to be super loyal, nor would I even wager they're going to be super intelligent or mature. Obviously, there will be outliers, so I'm not saying everyone who falls into those categories are all the same. Not true, but people who engage in those activities, who go to those environments, usually follow certain trends. So if you want to find better people, then maybe you should start going to coffee shops, bookstores, yoga classes, the gym, things like that, to find higher quality partners. So that is within our control. We can control the dating pool we put ourselves in. For instance, online dating, that's not a great dating pool because it's basically putting you into the entire pool. Like, rather than finding a niche of certain people, you're throwing yourself in the ocean pretty much, where everyone is. So of course you're going to meet a vast majority of average people who aren't great, who aren't super loyal, who aren't there for the right reasons. And yeah, if you're someone who works on yourself, you probably aren't going to have a good time there. So know the dating pools you're putting yourselves in based on the environments that you inhabit, and stay away from the ones that aren't in line with you. Online dating is just so hit or miss for that reason, because yeah, most people don't work on themselves. So if you're someone who does, you probably aren't going to have a good time on there. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I have for you here. It's just a few tips to help you have a better dating life, to solve some of your dating issues, because most of them are caused by those two things. You're going after average people, which I would not recommend if you work on yourself, or two, you're not working on yourself, so you're causing problems because you need to do so. You need to raise your standards. You need to become a more attractive person yourself by having more going for you. And I do mean more so mentality-wise. Of course, the more you work on yourself, you probably will level up your life along with it, because mindset's kind of the basis of everything I've learned. That's what my whole page is about, right? Like, this is why I make these videos, because I've realized mindset is pretty much the most important thing in life. Like, if you could choose just one thing to focus on your entire life, that would be it. Like, if you focus on that, you'll probably create a great life for yourself. So yeah, if your dating life isn't great, you probably need to work on that, because all these people who are giving up on dating, who have a really negative view of it, they're not going to be super attractive if they throw themselves out there, because they're going to be tackling it from a negative headspace. Like, immediately, that's not setting you up for success. It's like trying to run a marathon, but your initial assumption before you even begin is that you're not going to make it all the way to the end. That's going to affect how you perform and how you train, so you could very much create a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's just in your own interest to work on your mindset, have a more positive view of dating, knowing that you're going about it consciously and avoiding average people, and then continue from there. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this just mainly because it is kind of frustrating for me to see so many people online talking about giving up on dating and saying all men and all women are the same. I do tend to see more people saying all women are the same because of the red pill and MGTOW movements are huge, and me being a man, the algorithm naturally will show me more content related to men. So I do see this kind of stuff pretty often, and it's just unfortunate to see how these people are doing it to themselves and they don't even realize it. Like, when guys say all women are the same, I immediately think, like, dude, you're talking about average women. I get that average women tend to be a certain way, but like, why are you only going after them? Why are you tolerating that? Like, I don't tolerate average women because I know how they're going to be, and I just don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to deal with the high odds of them cheating. I don't want to deal with them wanting me to be like make a six-figure income, because I don't, and I just don't want to deal with all that crap that tends to come with it. My God, these freaking flies are attacking me. But yeah, so basically, I think that people need to stop dating average people and just work on themselves so they can get through all this crap. So yeah, I wish I could show this video to everyone on the internet and solve some of these really unhelpful victimhood mentalities, but oh well, can't really do that. But I guess if you want to share the video to people you know, and maybe it'll help them and we could get one step closer towards that dream. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I have for you. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you like content like this, and if so, be sure to subscribe for more like it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci.